Hello, everyone. Welcome. As you guys can hear, I am a little bit under the weather. I have a cold, so I have the tea. And it's super hot. I have the tea. I have my cough drops going, and I am going to do my best to get through this without coughing because I know that can be very frustrating for people who are hanging out and watching and listening. So welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today we are going to be working on more alternate projects with paper pumpkins. So I wanted to start combining the sets, the October and November sets, but I actually ended up started working with the bags first. So that is really what we're going to focus on today, is just kind of coordinating things in terms of we're going to have matching cards and then tags with our bags. So there are two different bags that I have here that I'm featuring. We have the North Pole sacks, which was an add-on that they were featuring for the October and the November kits. And then these were actually called, let me get them, mini shopping bags. And Paper Pumpkin recently just had a sale on all of their like add-ons and refills and all of that lovely stuff. And these were half off. So I ended up getting a couple of sets of these, and I'll show you what my plan is for these. So I'm going to open up these bags. We're going to go through them. I'm going to give you some ideas. I wanted to show you one really cute idea that I'm planning on doing with Connor's class. I hope. I don't know if I'm going to be allowed. I have to ask, but we'll see. But anyway, let me just start opening these up and going through these. I would love to hear from you. Be sure to say hi. Let me know whether you're watching live or in the replay. With the mini shopping bags, all right, so this is just a modified version of the tag that was designed in the November Paper Pumpkin kit. This is the gingham ribbon, the black and white 1/4-inch gingham ribbon. And then I actually used this stamp on the bag too. And I just did it on the front of the bag, but I have some bags where I did it on both sides. So I'll show you guys how I did that because there is a trick to it. And I'm unraveling my bow, so we can redo that in a minute. And then here is the card. So this is the 4 1/4 by 5.5 size card. So this is sort of our standard size. This fits in the medium envelopes from Stampin' Up! And then on the inside, we actually have a little gift card holder. And these are from the mini pocket envelope dies. And I'll go through everything that we're going to be using. And then, of course, whatever gift card you would want to put in there. I like that gift card because it was fancy. And then for the North Pole sack, this is a smaller size bag. This is, I believe this is 4 by 6. So I ended up doing a note card size card for this. So for this one, this is a 3.5 by 5 card, and it coordinates with the bag. So we sort of have that matching theme there. And I did go and I did check the updates on our inventory status report. At this time of the year, it starts getting really crazy in terms of what's available. And I did see that the metallic paper just went on to back order. But at this point, as we're heading into December, most of you probably already have it anyway. So I hope that that's okay. But you could always switch this out to one of our cardstock colors or white. You know, I think that'd be good. And this is what the white looks like here on the bag. So this is our 3.5 by 5-inch card with our bag. And I'll just leave that out actually. And then with this one here, this is actually the Paper Pumpkin version of the tag. So if you are new, like Margaret is just telling me here in the comments, she's saying, I'm really new to this, but I'm enjoying learning from you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And if you are new to this and you're new to Paper Pumpkin or you're new to crafting and you do follow the instructions exactly, this is the exact tag from the Paper Pumpkin kit for November. How cute is that? And then I just stamped 3 of the candy canes on the mini shopping bag. And then I don't have a card in this one, but I had made some cards previously. Let's see. We have the Paper Pumpkin cards right here. So this is also a Paper Pumpkin card design, and you could tuck this and it would coordinate and match right inside your bag. So if you're looking to just keep it to the kit, it's still going to look super cute. And then you guys are going to laugh. But how cute is this little puffy dinosaur, this little birthday dinosaur. He just fit in here, and I'll tell you why I used him in a minute. But this is an old ornament. This is actually from 2019, but I keep it here to reference, I swear, every Christmas because I'm a big fan of handmade ornaments. And this fits perfectly as a little gift inside this bag. But let's just say it's not that. Let's say it's just a little pack of something else or a gift card. This is a really good size for this, but remember, this will fit up to, 5.5 inches in terms of a card. And so that's why with this card, I actually added a ton of dimension. So we could have a lot of fun with this because we have a lot more space to work with on the inside of these bags. So here you can see it's going to fit nicely. And let me give you just a quick example of that. This is what I'm thinking about doing for Connor's class. So here is another bag that was stamped. This is another paper pumpkin tag, just to give you guys an idea of the way that you can mix them and match them. And here inside is a little information on a dinosaur egg that they can actually dig a dinosaur out of. So I was thinking, how cute would this be for Connor's class? But I don't know if they're allowed. So we have our little chipper, which I'm sure there's a more technical name for that. And then we have the little brush. This is actually what he likes to do with the eggs, is he will brush the little pieces away as we're chipping away at it. And then here I have the little dinosaur that we already dug up. So if you have, you're doing like a class option, this actually came from a kit, because I'm a kit person, as we all know, in more than one way. So here, this was a kit that my aunt got on Amazon. It has 12 eggs in it. And if you buy a couple of sets of bags, you can break it up. They have enough of these, one per egg. And then you could have up to 12 little gifts for kids. And in Connor's class, it's all boys. So I thought that would be so perfect. So maybe not exactly what we had in mind for these kits, but I think that the canvas, like, it just has this whole theme to it. So if you guys have dinosaur stamps at home, or really cute birthday stamps, or something like that that you would want to do. I mean, look at how all of the stuff that you can fit in here. So it's really cute. Like, there are so many things that you can do with these bags. So for this one, this is our note card size. And what I did was I just cut out a piece of the basic white cardstock to 5x7, and then we're scoring at 3.5 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this in half. And with our alternates, I do bring in alternate product, meaning I bring in my own cardstock. I start bringing in some designer series paper, just depending on the theme that I'm going with here. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to use a piece of the Gingham, Gingham Cottage is what it's called, designer series paper. You can go with either side. So for an example here, I did the checkered side, like the small box. And then on this card, I did the more broad angled gingham pattern. And that's just the reverse of this piece of paper. So if you're working with a 12x12 sheet, you can actually get a couple of different sizes out of this. Okay, so I'm actually going to cut this to 3.5x5 so that it covers the whole front of the card. So we're going to start there. Okay, so I am going to jump into voiceover now. My voice is a little more recovered. I had to wait 2 extra days to get this replay up, and I appreciate your patience. So here I am going to show you how I stamped the canvas bag. I do have a few tips for this, and actually, Trip, if you were here and you were watching, thank you for your tips as well on the Facebook Live that I did on Tuesday. Okay, so I am using Stays On ink in black. I think it Stays On black for this. So Stays On ink is something that you can stamp on materials and it will stay. You can, you don't have to worry about it bleeding or fading or getting wet or anything like that. So I just wanted to have a simple, classic look, a single stamp on the front and the back of the bag, the same stamp, the same color. And there were a few reasons for that. I discovered first, when I was stamping with my Stamparatus, I had to give it definitely 4 to 5 rounds of stamping before I had a full crisp image, the way that I liked, the way that I liked it looking, almost as if it were printed. So I did have to do a few rounds on that. The other thing is you want to make sure that the bag doesn't have a lot of creases in it or wrinkles. You want to make sure the bag is flat, and you want to be mindful of the seams. You can actually sort of visually see the stitching at the top and then the seams coming along either side of the bag. If your surface isn't completely flat, like when I'm using the Stamparatus tool and I'm stamping down on it, you can see in the center of the bag it's nice and smooth and clean and flat. There's no bumps, there's no seam that that it's messing with. If I were trying to stamp closer to the edge, I would not get a clean image because it's not flat. So that was one of the reasons why I chose to stamp in the middle of this bag. So this is the version with the reindeer. And then I also did 3 candy canes, which is a smaller stamp, and I was able to do 3 of them in Sweet Sorbet across the front of the other canvas bag. You can have a lot of fun with this. You could do cute designs, and then of course put your favorite tags on as a finishing touch, and then a coordinating handmade card, which is really the concept of this video. And let me know in the comments below if you have ever stamped on canvas bags or materials or ribbon with StazOn ink. I would love to hear from you. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am bringing in a die from the Fabulous Frames dies. When I create alternate projects with Paper Pumpkin, I do bring in a lot of the tools, which is one of the things that we don't see in the kits, and one of the reasons why the kits are so affordable. So I did use the brushed metallic paper in the gold tone with the Fabulous frame right there. We're going to be cutting this several times, and that is because when you do a single pass of these frame dies, it actually cuts out 2 pieces. It cuts out the frame, and then it cuts out the inner rectangle. And I do utilize both pieces when I'm working with the cards, but typically I do them in different colors. So we're going to need to run it through twice. These are those decorative corners, like photo corners that you would see for somebody who does scrapbooking, but I actually love this detail on cards too. So if you're a memory keeper or a scrapbooker, you know what those are. But if you are a card maker and you like layers and you like those really unique touches, this is definitely going to be something you're going to like. So what you see me doing is we're going to run this through a couple of times because I needed the inner rectangle in white. I needed the outer rectangle frame in the brushed metallic gold. Whenever you run the photo corner die cut through, the wonderful thing about that is you actually get all 4 pieces in one pass, and it does the embossing while it's cutting, which is wonderful. So that's a time saver right there. And there are 2 different styles that come in the Fabulous Frames dies. Now, this stamp was from the October Paper Pumpkin kit, where we have the iconic image of the silhouette of Santa's sleigh with the reindeer. And I really wanted that to stand out. And one of the things about the StazOn ink is that the black is really a true opaque, deep black shade. And it actually has like a little bit of a sticky feel to it. And it was a little bit resistant when I was pulling it back up after I had inked everything with it. So it truly is a perfect black ink to do with a silhouette stamp like the one that you see here. And I love the high impact. The Merry and the Christmas stamps are also from the October kit stamp set, the October Paper Pumpkin kit stamp set. So we are mix and matching the October and the November stamps with some alternate product here. Now, this is the gingham ribbon, the black and white gingham ribbon. This is a 1/4 inch ribbon. This is so easy to work with. It's so cute. What ended up happening was I ended up actually covering up the majority of this ribbon. So don't feel like you need to have that ribbon layer there. I probably should have repositioned it in a different place because my Fabulous frame just sort of kind of covers it, but you can just see the slightest edge on either end of the card. So it's totally up to you. The way that I made up for it was I ended up tying a little bow, very easy to tie bows with that ribbon, and putting it off to the side next to Santa's sleigh. And I really liked the pop of the gingham that way. I felt like it tied in really well with that gingham Cottage Designer Series paper. So there's a few things that I want to shout out really quickly while I'm doing this. I'm adding dimensionals to the edges there so that this has a little bit of dimension to it here. And now I'm tying that bow. And you can secure that bow with an adhesive dot from your kit or with a glue dot, whatever, glue you prefer for that. So as I'm recording this, as I am releasing this to YouTube, it is Friday, December 2nd, 2022. Our last chance sale just started yesterday, and it runs through, I think, January, I want to say January 3rd or January 4th, basically for the entire month of December. The last chance list items, that means the retiring items from our mini catalog, the holiday catalog, July to December 2022. All of those items that are retiring, some of them have been discounted up to 60% off. This Gingham Designer Series paper that I brought in to use with these cards is actually 40% off. I used the festive and framed stamp set for this sentiment, and I heat embossed it in gold for the inside of the card. I did heat emboss on this decorative element on the front of the North Pole sack, so I used the heat emboss powder in white with the black cardstock and the white frame as opposed to the gold, but it all coordinates and ties together with the same gingham ribbon. Okay, and so as we move on to our standard size card here, this is going to fit nicely into a medium white envelope, or it will fit into your envelopes from other paper pumpkin kits. I keep stacks and stacks of the medium white envelopes from Stampin' Up! To use with my cards. I ran out of the Rush Metallic Gold cardstock, so I am supplementing with this Distress Gold specialty paper, which was actually part of the Chic suite, the texture sheet suite in the annual catalog. But you can use whatever metallics you have, whatever specialty papers that you would like. I wanted to have a black, white, and gold theme for these cards. So we are going to be using those fabulous frame dies again. This time we're going to be using the larger frame, which was a little bit too big for the note card size, but is perfect for our, 4¼ by 5½ inch size. So I'm going to cut this out. Again, I'm cutting it out twice because I need it in gold, and that's for the outer frame piece. And then I want that inner rectangle that's going to nest in there nicely in basic white cardstock. So, and just a note, I am using my full size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this because the largest of the fabulous frames that you're seeing on screen here, oh, I'm sorry, it was black cardstock, not white cardstock. That needs the larger machine. The other size dies from the fabulous frames are probably fine to go through the mini. But whenever you get over 3 inches, or I think it might be 3½ I can't remember the exact amount, like this die here is at least 4 inches, you're going to need the full size machine for that. And I always just like to mention it. So here you can see the card is starting to come together. And when this is the gingham paper in all of those different colors that I was telling you about, I have to tell you, I really used this the entire season. I love this paper. I think it's some of the most versatile paper. Any occasion you can use this for, including holidays. And if you want more information about that, I have links in the description box below where you can shop. You can go to my blog. You could always go to stampinup.com and you can shop that way. However you like to shop, whatever works best for you, go and check out that last chance sale. They also did a clearance rack refresh, and there were a lot of discounted products added for that too. I'm telling you, December is a really exciting month. I mean, the deals are fantastic. And for demonstrators, we are actually getting to shop out of a brand new catalog, which is going to be launching to all of you in January. So if you are interested in getting a catalog from me and you haven't shopped with me yet, please reach out to me. My email is in the description link, the description box below. And you can email me and just let me know you're interested in getting a January catalog and a celebration brochure from me. I would love to mail one to you. I'm getting my list together as we speak. All right, so now I'm bringing in iridescent trim. This is a fun, fabulous embellishment. It's textured, it's, shimmery. It's so cool. And because this card is going into a bag and not into a standard size envelope, we can really have a lot of fun with the dimension on this card. So this card can afford to have some more layers. It can afford to be a little bit thicker. And I'm using hot glue to adhere this to my card only because this has a 3D aspect to it, and that it's a little bit thicker in texture. It's not like a typical flat ribbon. And I just felt like it would be a little more secure and effective to have the hot glue for the iridescent trim. If you would rather save your trim for, gift bag handles or for, ornament loops or something like that, you could absolutely do that. But I think it's a really fun element on your cards, especially if your card is actually part of a gift, like giving a little coordinated gift bag, right? Really, really cute. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to heat emboss this. So now I'm going to bring in my Versamark ink. I'm just trying to clean that up quickly, but as Trip had mentioned, you got to clean the StazOn ink off very quickly off of your stamps, or once it's dry, it's pretty much set unless you use a special cleaner to get it off. So that stamp is officially stained, but the ink that's going on it now is Versamark, which is a clear ink. And so when you use an anti-static tool like the Embossing Buddy, that just keeps it nice and smooth and clean, so that when you do put the heat embossing powder on the stamped image, the powder only sticks to the ink and not to anything else on that card, which gives you a nice, clean, easy way to heat emboss your image. So if you're new to heat embossing, I highly recommend it. It's a magical little effect that you get on your projects. So beautiful. And this is coming out in gold. So full disclosure, this is a different gold than the Stampin' Up! Heat embossing powder. I messed up my gold powder, so I'm using a supplement here, but use whatever heat embossing powder you have. But look at the impact of that on the basic black cardstock. Is that not stunning? So we have our Stampin' Dimensionals, and then we have these dimensional sheets. They're like these foam adhesive sheets, and you can cut them into whatever size you want. So essentially, it's a gigantic dimensional. Because of the dimension of the iridescent trim, I'm actually going to double up on this. So I'm putting one right on top of the other on the back of that layer so that I have enough dimension to place that securely over the trim, and it peeks out around the edges. And in person, you can see those little frayed pieces, those iridescent frame pieces a little bit better. But if you would want your trim to be more visible, you could just glue it out a little bit further on the gold part of the frame as opposed to on the inner edge like I did. And now I'm just attaching those little photo corners, those little decorative photo corners, to give a nice, clean, crisp design to this alternate card project. So I really thought that the reindeer stamp from the November Paper Pumpkin kit, which is what we had used here, was stunning. It's a stunning stamp design, and it's big. It's meant to be like this centerpiece medallion stamp. And these are the snowflakes from the November Paper Pumpkin kit, and we're just going to dot them on either side of our stamp. I'm using an adhesive dot just to secure them down. And then if you want to add a little bit of an embellishment on there, what I ended up doing was adding the iridescent rhinestones to the center of each snowflake. I had also added the rhinestones to my photo corners, but I decided to keep it simpler and just put them on the snowflakes on the second card. So definitely up to you. And then of course I discovered I put that card front on upside down. So I'll fix that later. But just so you know, as you guys can tell, if you've been here watching me for more than one video, I make mistakes. So there is that 3 stamped candy cane bag. And I'll have photos up on the blog. I'll have photos on Pinterest, all the places. If you do want to save those so that you can refer to those later. Or if you're just looking for ideas of things that you can do with your paper pumpkin kits and add-ons and all of that lovely stuff. Now, I also brought in a set of dies called the Mini Pocket Envelope dies. And this cuts out that piece that we are going to use as our gift card holder. And I'm just using designer series paper for this. I actually really recommend the designer series paper for this. It's so easy to fold and cut. So the way that this works, when you cut this out with your die cutting machine, the lines of where you fold the tabs are actually embossed into it while you're die cutting. And then I also wanted to use this. This is the tag from the November kit that you see here. I wanted to turn that into a sentiment die cut. So I am taking a smaller rectangle, also from the mini pocket envelope dies, and we're just going to cut both through at once. And that's where I'm going to end up stamping my Merry Christmas, which is going to go onto the front of the little gift card holder. I like the idea of having the gift card holder inside of a card, but you could always do that, you know, as an independent piece as well. So you're going to see these two simple little tabs here. You're just going to fold these in, use your bone folder, get a nice crisp edge on it if you want. You're just going to put the glue on the back of those tabs. I like to use a stronger glue like the Tear and Tape adhesive or the Stampin' Seal Plus, but you are just going to have to fold back the adhesive a little bit because the tabs are just slightly thinner than the Tear and Tape. Tear and Tape is very malleable. You can move it very easily like you see me doing here with my fingers. And just make sure that it's, you know, all on the tab before you seal it up. And then you have yourself a little gift card holder, and we're just going to glue that in, and then you'll just tuck your gift card in there. I decided to stick with the black ink theme for my Merry Christmas sentiment as well. The Merry Christmas stamp is actually from the November kit. So I hope that you guys are okay with me referring back and forth to both kits, because I did really mix and match the stamps. And the reason for that is because as you are creating alternate projects, I want you to know that you can easily combine both with your projects, and it's seamless. It doesn't look like it's, you know, from something different. It all looks like it's part of it or that it's together. Now, on the original card, I had glued it to the middle of the card, and I thought, you know what, honestly, I would actually glue that off to the left or to the right and leave myself a little square where I could actually write my Christmas note. All right, and then this finishes up these particular alternate projects. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I do alternate paper pumpkin projects each month. You can click the subscribe button, leave me a comment, like, share, and I will see you in the next video.